It took me 30 years to learn this, but I'll teach it to you in less than 10 minutes. This simple roadmap has enabled me to build a debt-free, multi-seven-figure property portfolio that gives us the freedom to do crazy things, like travel across Europe aboard the famous Orient Express. But more importantly, it's helped me avoid costly mistakes, like my neighbor who sold his unit for $1.1 million just before it jumped to $2.5 million. Hi, I'm Shane, and I'm about to share exactly how you can do the same. Here's what I see happening. People are buying investment properties like they buy new cars. They walk into a showroom, choose something that catches their eye, and the salesman sells it to them. But they don't realize that if they don't look thoroughly at what they're buying, it could be a property that won't make them any money. The biggest problem? People are following the herd, jumping into properties without realizing the smart money has already found the growth areas before the crowd discovers them. And if they're buying new off-the-plan properties, much of the purchase price is wrapped up in fees, commissions, and taxes. I wanted to share this because I was tired of seeing good people get bad property advice from people with little or no real experience. Let me be honest, I wasn't always smart about this either. I was trying to get rich through property, but I didn't really understand what rich meant. When I was young, we never had much money. Sometimes my mum skipped meals to make sure I had food. So for me, having money seemed like the answer to everything. But I learned that being rich isn't having lots of money. Rich is having no debt, plus enough money to do everything on your bucket list without stress. Before I figured this out, I made costly mistakes. I got into a deal that was costing me a fortune and keeping me awake at night. Greed had gotten the better of me. One day, I analysed every property I'd ever bought, what I paid, what they're worth today, which ones perform best. I discovered that my best investments were genuinely profitable, low risk, and paid for themselves. Without realizing it, I'd become a contrarian investor, buying when people were hesitant and selling when everyone else was buying. You don't need to take big risks to make money in property. Now I have a debt-free property portfolio that gives me the freedom to travel the world without financial stress. We've done incredible things like riding camels through the Sahara Desert, an African safari, seeing Broadway shows and dining at some of the world's best restaurants. Experiences that used to seem impossible when I was worried about money. Let me give you some real examples. Here's a property we bought for $300,000 and sold for $800,000 a few years later. We knew when to buy, added value strategically, and knew when to sell. That property is probably worth $1.1 million today, but we took our profit and reinvested it at the right time. Here's another. I had some cash and bought a unit in 2021 for $138,000 that's currently valued at $250,000. That's good capital gain, but the rent alone pays way better than bank interest. Or my neighbor's unit that netted the new owner a $1.4 million profit in just a few years. Now, most people assume property prices always go up. That's true to a degree, but timing matters enormously. Look at this example. This unit sold in 2007 for $680,000. The owner sold it in 2020 for just $395,000. That's a $285,000 loss over 13 years. But here's the sad part. That same property just resold in 2025 for $825,000. The person who bought in 2020 made $430,000 in just 5 years, while the previous owner lost nearly $300,000. Same property, different timing. This is why strategy matters. Get this wrong, and it can really hurt. It's probably why most investors don't have more than one property. So what's the solution? There are basically two strategic paths you can take. Path 1, the long game. Buy a solid property in a good area and let time do its thing over 15 to 20 years. You ask, will this area still be growing in 10 to 20 years? Path 2, the strategic approach. Buy well before an area has grown, add value if needed, then sell to reinvest profits. This uses timing and cycles to accelerate wealth building. Most people don't understand this distinction, which is why they get confused or make costly mistakes. These require completely different strategies. The fundamentals never change. Buy a good property in a good area, add value where you can, but knowing which strategy to apply and when takes experience. Here's what happens when you wait. Someone in my family wanted to buy in a specific suburb but kept saving for a bigger deposit. I told them, you can't outsave a booming market. Buy something cheaper now and use that growth to fund your dream property later. They're still waiting, and it's cost them over $100,000 in missed opportunities. I know this might seem overwhelming. 30 years of experience condensed into 10 minutes. That's why I've broken everything down into a simple 7-step process that you can follow. This roadmap shows you the easiest way to get from point A to point B based on your situation, how to spot the right opportunities before the crowd, and most importantly, how to avoid the costly mistakes. I'm making this available as a free download because I'm tired of seeing good people get burned by bad advice. This is the exact process we use with our private clients. The same strategy that's enabled us to live a life beyond our wildest dreams, completely debt-free with the freedom and choice to do the things we want to do every day. In the current phase of the cycle, there are exciting opportunities ahead, but only if you position yourself correctly. The window won't stay open forever. If you want the complete 7-step roadmap, go to www.bettercallshane.com and download it now. Remember, it's taken me 30 years of wins, losses, and trial and error to develop this. I've made the mistakes so you don't have to.